I think the biggest takeaway I have from last night is that for all of us in Vikings Nation, that was just fun and exciting to watch if you're a Vikings fan. It's been a long time coming. Even with the 2 wins they got through the first 6 games, it was more so, oh boy, what are they going to do to screw this up? But that was one of those moments, flaws and all, drop passes included, and 2 missed kicks by Greg Joseph. He cost the Vikings 4 points. But that was fun and exciting for us, the fans. And we deserve that. It's about damn time. Are the Vikings back? Before week 7, when the Vikings were 2-4, they were a game back of the LA Rams, who previously held the 7th seed in the NFC, with a handful of teams in between the Vikings and the Rams. Now, after week 7 and the Vikings improving to 3-4, one team separates Minnesota from the 7th seed in the NFC, and that's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Their next 5 opponents, Minnesota, before the bye, are combined 13-21, and they showed last night against the, I would still say, definitely the best team in the NFC, that the Vikings can compete with anybody. It's just a matter of execution. And it's such a wacky ass league this season, whereas it goes week to week as far as which team is the cream of the crop. One week it's San Francisco, the next it's Philadelphia, the next it's Miami, so on and so forth. But are the Vikings back? Technically, yes, as far as the yellow brick road in front of them. However, the real question is, as the cool kids say, are the Vikings so back? And that depends. I think the most important thing for this Vikings team is to stay focused. And I go back to last season, that wild 13-4 ride of 2022. After a statement win against the Green Bay Packers week 1 at home, US Bank Stadium, Vikings win. Final score 23-7. You follow that up immediately with a week 2 blowout loss, 24-7 in Philly. Week 10, the emotional win in overtime against the Buffalo Bills. Final score 33-30 Vikings. After that, you follow that up immediately with a blowout loss to the Dallas Cowboys at home, 40-3. You have to stay focused. It's fine to do the nobody believed in us card. If you want to play that, that's fine. But now you have, if you're the Vikings, you have officially turned heads. Now people are going to start paying attention to you. The Vikings, they're not all that bad. They can maybe make some noise here, do some damage. Now you're going to get people on your side. Don't start feeling yourselves and thinking we're the big bad Vikings. Stay focused 1 week at a time so that you don't get caught up next week against Green Bay and say, whatever, they're what, 2-4, 2-5 right now, whatever it is that they are, because that's how you set yourself up for an ultimate disaster of a loss. If you're going to go all in now at this point, you can't trade Danielle Hunter. You need him. And I would say if that is the case, it needs to shift from, all right, trading him by the trade deadline to, all right, we're going to go all in, but it needs to shift from trading him to we need to re-sign him. That needs to be a priority. You cannot let this man walk away for a compensatory pick. And I was saying last night during the stream, whereas the one thing I would say, I just don't know how it would be possible, is because TJ Hawkinson already reset the tight end market. Justin Jefferson will reset the wide receiver market. Christian Darrisaw will reset the left tackle market. How are you going to make that all fit? And Danielle Hunter is going to want to reset the edge rusher market as well. How are you going to make that fit? I have no idea, but you need to make it work by any means necessary. Going to the offense, what really, and I didn't mention this during the post-game vid last night, but what really helped the Vikings in beating San Francisco was the balanced offensive attack. There was yin and yang. There was ebb and flow. Not just the passing game, but the run game supported the passing game. With that said, Alexander Mattison needs to be demoted immediately. You need to give those touches that you would give to number 2 instead to Cam Akers. Cam Akers has shown that he can make plays in the passing game. He's explosive. He has big playability, whereas Mattison, we've seen a large enough sample size. He has no vision, no awareness to make his cuts. He can't catch. His pass blocking is ass. We'll talk about that in just a second, to where you need to make a change if you're Kevin O'Connell. Jordan Addison talked about this last night. If I'm an opposing defense and we're about to play the Minnesota Vikings, especially if Justin Jefferson, as long as he's going to be out, so we can just key in on number 3. What I saw last night, I fear would be and Jordan Addison is great. He's the second coming of Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs with Justin Jefferson, can you imagine? Hot damn. But something that I saw last night, that first possession where the forced pass to Jordan Addison with Charvarius Ward jamming him at the line of scrimmage, if I'm a defense, I would say, okay, we can just lock in on Jordan Addison. I'm just going to put my biggest cornerback on Jordan Addison pre-snap, and if you think he's just going to ballerina his way past him, then good luck with that. But that's just not, I don't think that really suits in his strength. And I talked about this during the live stream. That led to that interception. Kirk Cousins was locked in on Addison the whole play. It wasn't there. He should have went to his second option. But what I would do to negate that, if I'm the Vikings offense, is look at what the Miami Dolphins do. The pre-snap motion. There was a time where the pre-snap motion was all about, oh, let's just see if the defense is running zone or man, depending on if the defender follows or not. Now, it's more than that. The Dolphins, they don't give a damn whether you're doing man or zone. They get Tyreek Hill, and not just in a jogging pre-snap motion. He's full out sprinting to where once the ball snaps, Tyreek Hill is not trying to get himself up to speed. He's already damn near at full speed, getting the gears going at the snap of the ball, to where it's impossible, even if you want to play up tight, it's impossible for the defensive back to jam the receiver at the line of scrimmage. I think you need to do that with Jordan Addison if they decide, if you see pre-snap that, okay, they're playing in close, they're going to try to rough him up, and you got a 5-yard head start as far as getting contact on our receivers. Let's get him some space, because you have him go full out sprint. That's all the space that he needs, to where it's impossible for defenders to keep up with. Kirk Cousins, and he was throwing absolute lasers last night. Shout out to Lupe Fiasco. And that's what's frustrating about this guy. This man has all the talent in the world. Apparently, it's all about if he decides to play up to his potential or not. Maybe he listened to more Creed than usual. My Sacrifice is a dope-ass song. I wouldn't blame him for that. But for everybody that's coming after me right now, Kirk Cousins, you never believed in him and whatever. Listen, man, you can't play like butt-ass. Even in the 2 games that you did win through the first 6 weeks, against Carolina, against Chicago, where you had to fight for your lives just to eke out those wins, and then suddenly you turn it around against a formidable opponent on primetime and say you never believed. He needs to do this consistently. It's really all up to him. The offensive line, my God, the pass protection has been incredible. The last 3 games, against San Francisco, Chicago, they're whatever, but also Kansas City, you're talking about going up against players like Chris Jones, Javon Hargrave, Eric Armstead, and Nick Bosa. The last 3 games, Kirk Cousins was sacked 5 times. Now, last night, Kirk Cousins didn't get sacked at all, but those 5 sacks that he suffered the previous 2 games, I would argue it's more so off, not on the offensive line getting beat because they were holding their own. I would say it's more for the unaccounted blitzes. That's on the quarterback, or in the case of where the blitzes are picked up and it is accounted for, Alexander Mattison has shown that he does a really poor job in pass protection. The offensive line has been great, and I can't believe I'm saying pass protection is their strength. And Christian Darrisaw, I got caught up in Jordan Addison's performance last night, and you should too. But we cannot lose focus on just how great 71 is, the Vikings left tackle. We already knew that he was good, borderline great. But last night was the litmus test. This was, all right, it's the 49ers. They've got Nick Bosa. What are you going to do? And I said during the live stream, I said, I'm going to set my own line at half a sack given up by Christian Darrisaw, and I'm going to take the under. I don't think he gives up a sack at all. And I think he holds Nick Bosa in check. And to be clear, the Niners have no problem switching Nick Bosa from left to right. They don't care. They do it all game long. For the most part, they were avoiding Christian Darrisaw. They're like, you know what? We're going to take on Brian O'Neill. And that's no easy task either. But the times where they said, screw it, Nick Bosa, you're going to go to the right side and line up across from 71, the dominance that Darrisaw showed to where it's like, bro, you don't belong on the same field as me. This man put Nick Bosa into the dirt. This is the reigning defensive player of the year. And the joke goes as far as, well, you know what, we can't afford Trent Williams. We have Trent Williams at home. That applies here. This is greatness personified to where it's like, okay, Jordan Addison, that was the Jordan Addison breakout game. This is also the Christian Darrisaw elevation game. This man is incredible. He is a beast. That was beautiful football to watch as far as that one-on-one matchup between the two. And Christian Darrisaw won that by a mile. This man's he's going to, in fact, it's not even him resetting the left tackle market. Whichever is more expensive, the highest paid left tackle, I'm assuming that's Trent Williams, or whatever Nick Bosa's getting paid. Whichever's higher, if I was Christian Darrisaw, that's where I would start. That's the floor. And if I were him, and I posted this earlier, negotiations, put on a film of the Niners game where Christian Darrisaw was beating the hell out of the defensive player of the year and just walk out. No words needs to be said. Are the Vikings so back? I don't know. It's up to them.